Welcome to another episode of Talk Show Divas. I'm so glad y'all came back to have another chat with us. Well, today we're going to have some really nice hot topics for you. I got my beautiful co-host over here, Miss Sarah. How you feeling today?
So good. So good.
Awesome sauce. I got Miss Brandi over here.
Yes, she's in the house.
Okay.
Turn up.
No. Right.
Stop. I'm too old for the turn up.
No, but we do turn up just a little bit.
You're never too old for the turn up.
No, never.
She's trying to say she was.
You could be too old to turn down, though.
Yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. Look. As much as we have fun here on Talk Show Divas, I had like a serious little topic that I kind of wanted to put out there because me myself, I don't have any kids right now. So, but as you know, coming up, it was so hard for me like to get in college without my parents' support after a certain age. So my topic for y'all today is like, what are we doing to support our children financially for their educational future? Like, what goals? Nothing.
Nothing. Tell them to go to college.
Right, and that was going to be my point. All my life, people have been telling me, you better go to school, you need to get your education, go to college. But, so when I'm ready to go to college, you know, I look on this application, and they're like, okay, well, you're under 24, so we're going to need your mom and your father's state return from last year.
Absolutely.
Right, and so now it's about 2007, 8. So, you know, a lot of people was doing stuff they weren't supposed to. So my daddy was like, no, you can't get my information because I kind of own. So that was an issue for me. And then I go to my mom and it's like, well, honey, I made too much last year. Like, they're not going to tax me that extra money. So it put me in a situation to where I actually had to really work hard to go to school. And I felt like, you know, if we push our kids every day to get an education, how do we not prepare them? Like, okay, I don't get it.
So I'm just a little thrown back on that because I've been in your situation. I totally understand where you're coming from, but I'm also in the situation where I have college-age children. I have a college-age child and one on her way to college in a couple of years. Right. And I am really scared because I can't afford to send her to school. I just can't afford it, which is why I preach the go to school, so that she wouldn't be in the same financial situation.
So not to be a little petty, you know. So when we're saying this, go to school, why aren't, you know, as parents, we're not putting $1 every time? If my mama put $1 up for every time she told me I need to take my butt to school and make sure I get a college education, I would be good.
Yeah.
But there's no like system for the kids now to encourage them, because I look at it like this: if I wasn't determined to go back to school and get my education, I would have got deterred away from it when they were like, okay, well, you need to get this, you got to fax this, you got to call this office, you got to be on hold for this amount of time. I could be, why am I doing it?
That didn't do nothing but make you a stronger person, though, Cece.
Because I was already strong.
Right. I mean, that's
so
true.
I'm talking about the kids out there now. You know, like if there's no. Put it like this: if my mom had an education fund for me, that would have always it would have been back there. Like, I would have always known, you're going to college.
Okay.
But without that, like, why would they want to go to school?
Okay, but if your parents put up a college fund for you, so you got $50,000 in the bank, or any fund, okay,
any fund,
but you got $50,000 in the bank to go to school, that gotta last you 4 years, depending on what school you're going.
Just the first year associate's degree. Yeah.
And then, too, that would not have stopped the faxing and the filling out and the pre-test, and that would not have stopped all that other stuff that you still had to do. You just would have had funds to pay for your college education. You still would have had to do all that other stuff because you still
not really though. I had to literally prove to these people why my parents couldn't provide the information for me to go to school. So I had to really like sit down and think to myself, like, is it worth it for me to go back to school, or like, am I wasting my time? They give me to run around. Like, why am I doing this? But I have my own reasons. I know, you know, why I did it. But for the children out here that, you know, that want to do it and they're kind of in between, when it might be beneficial for them to take this route, but they just don't have no support.
You're going to have to give me more specifics. Let me tell you why. Because, again, I am torn. I have been you, and I am the mother of college-age children. Okay, so if it's my daughter that's sitting here saying what you're saying to me, I would want to slap the piss out of her for being ungrateful. Because, okay, I don't have any money to put up for you to go to college. I'm sorry. Your parents are poor. but you got a roof over your head.
Yeah.
You are not hungry. And as long as you're in school, you're going to continue to have that roof over your head, and you're never going to be hungry. The only thing I ask you to do is go to school and get your education. You don't have no rent to pay, no lights to pay. Just come home. Get your ass up. Put your clothes on, go to school. I'll even drop you off at campus. Okay, so what, you had to fax?
Right, but there's some kids that don't have that as far as someone to even drop them off or even to care if they go, and I just think it's discouraging when we just don't have nothing, period.
But I didn't hear, I guess I didn't hear you say that. I heard you say your parents said, as far as your FAFSA is concerned, I can't help you, but I didn't hear where you're saying that they didn't help you do all this.
I didn't live with them, of course, so I was already, on my own. But I'm just saying for the kids that do have that always nagging, go to school. I'm just saying that we're not financially laying a foundation for the kids.
And I hear what both y'all are saying, and that leads me to kind of my attitude on it. My kids are not ready for college yet. My oldest is 13. But what I've always preached to them since they were younger is, like you said, mommy is poor. Mm-hmm. And I've been a single parent. And for me, I know that I'll never be able to afford to just outright purchase things like a college education. But I can do what I can do. And that is equip them with the knowledge. My daughter would not be sitting here freaking out over steps she had to take, because I would have taken every step that I could.
If nothing else, with her.
Yes, I would have made sure that when she signed up for school, my financials were ready to be presented.
It's going to say zero.
It's going to say zero. But I can prove to you that I have nothing.
Right.
All day long, I can prove that. And that's the thing you can do. And you give a man a fish, or you teach him to fish, kind of thing.
Right.
I've chosen to teach my girls to fish. I would love to hand them fish, but I have no fish. Mm-hmm. But I've taught them. Mm-hmm. I've taught them communication skills by speaking to them, by addressing them in our daily talk, so that they are comfortable conversing with adults.
Right.
That's one thing I have control over. I can make sure that she knows when she fills out paperwork, it's inappropriate to use a pencil.
Yeah.
I could tell her, if you make a mistake on your paper, I'd rather you not scribble. I'd rather we get a fresh, or let's use liquid paper or whatever. These are things that kids don't just automatically know.
Right.
And I may not have money in the bank, and I may not even be able to put $1 aside every time I say it, because I say it a lot.
Right.
And that's a good idea, though. If I could put $1 away every time, it'd be fantastic. But then let's say you do have that $50,000 in the bank.
Right.
Is that student going to necessarily be the best steward of that kind of money?
Exactly.
They normally don't, but I just think that it should be an option. Because us as minorities, period, we already have a hard time through the education system. We had to fight for this stuff. And so I just think that,
Still do.
Yeah, we are still currently fighting. So I just think that, when you hear, different races and stuff, they prepare their kids for this. And then, I think a lot of minorities aren't preparing.
But you can't just say that in the air without backing it up. So let's take black and white. How do you think a white family is preparing their children for college versus a black family?
Saving. They're saving, because I can say this. Look, I was in banking for like almost 3 years. The difference between the minorities and some of the whites, not saying all the whites do it, but it is not just whites. It is different races, like just in general. These people have savings accounts set up for their 1-year-old. The checks that are coming in from their families, from different, wherever they're coming from, those checks are going into those children's accounts, and they're not being touched.
Mm-hmm. And that's a wealthy culture.
That's what I wanted.
But all of them aren't wealthy, though.
Okay, but like you just said, one of the families that are doing this, the father's whole entire paycheck can go towards one paycheck a month. I don't know, can go towards the kids' savings. Because he can afford to do that. He can afford.
But we all can afford it.
I really can.
If we eating out, just think about it. How much money do we spend on takeout? How much money do we spend on things that we might not even need per se for our body. We have the money to do it, but we're not doing it. We have the resources to do it because at the end of the day, when I have a child, if I'm not financially ready for them to go to school, you're going to be writing scholarship papers by the age of 8,
right,
and trying to get some money so you can financially support yourself.
I guess that's why I'm not stressed, because there is this thing called financial aid, and there are all these things called scholarships. For now. But however...
But you have to learn how to write a scholarship letter. These are things that you have to
and
be
that
taught.
is what Miss Sarah was saying.
Right.
Okay, so I can't pay for you flat out to go to college, but I did teach you how to fax that paper, and I did give you all the things that you needed to fill out that application yourself.
So we think that they might not really know how to use those resources.
I get that, and I am here for you. So if you're sitting there and you're baffled as to how do I do this, well, you didn't come ask no questions. So I must have missed something in my parenting skills where I didn't teach you how to open up your mouth when you don't understand something, because I'm not a psychic. I don't read minds.
Right.
But in the same sentence, do not be offended when I say this, but I truly, truly, wholeheartedly believe this. I don't owe my children shit. Nothing but to feed them and clothe them and take care of them till they turn 18.
Right.
Yes, I want you to go to college. Absolutely I do, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get you there, and I will help you as long as you're in there. But I don't owe that to you. My paycheck that I go to work
a little bit, Brandi, though. We don't owe. Like, when I have a child, I would always say I owe you this, but you didn't ask to be here.
I get that.
This is a decision I made. You know, it might be a drunk night, you know, after a couple margaritas or whatever.
Once I got you out of high school, I'm done. So if you decide not to go to college, that's on you.
Yeah, that's on them. That's on them. That's
so I did what I was supposed to do. I got you out of high school. You graduated, honey. I done bought your car. And I hear what you're saying when you say,
but what tools do they really have for success? They got out of high school, but guess what? Nowadays, when you go fill out an application at McDonald's, you got a child with an associate's degree and then a child with a GED and a high school diploma. Who's going to get the job to work at McDonald's? Society has it now to where you have to have something. You
gotta
be on paper.
Is equivalent to an associate's these days. So unless you're going to continue.
Right. So high school diplomas and GEDs are nothing.
It's nothing. But that is all, as far as I'm concerned, as a parent, that I owe you. If that makes any sense. You going to college, me paying for that is a privilege. That is something that I am privileged to do for you, and you are privileged to get.
So how can we expect it out of them if we're not preparing them for it?
I have many expectations for my children.
I'm not talking about just you personally,
though. I'm
as
saying in general. I can expect you to be the best possible person you can be. Excuse me. I can expect that out of you all day.
Right.
I gave you the tools to do that.
Okay, then that makes sense. If you gave the
tools, that doesn't mean paying for your college education, because that might not make you the best person. Yeah, it could make you the worst person.
Right. Everybody shouldn't go to college either, but I feel like the parents, you know which one of your children, you know, are more I work with kids all, like, majority of my life. And I can look at them, I be like, okay, that one right there, he gonna want to do this, or she's gonna want to do that. And kids nowadays at 10, I don't want to go to college. I want to do this. I want to be an actor. I want to be a rapper. Everybody want to be something. You know what I'm saying? But when you know that child wants, like, if I had 3 kids, for instance, I got, one little off, the other one do their own thing, and then I had one that they like to read and they like to do, like, real nerd type stuff. Like, I was a nerd coming up. I would make a way for that, baby. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't just put you out there and expect you to get all these loans and getting all this debt, because you can get scholarships, you can get grants, but when it comes to, they're not going to cover everything.
And as a parent, when you're teaching your children from infancy, when you're teaching them, you're equipping them for the one day that they won't have you.
Exactly.
And I look at the transition between 12th grade and higher education as a maturation process, that it is kind of part of your responsibility now as an adult to take those steps. And it's like with any employer, if an employer has employees that come in and they're saying, I want a job, but they're not displaying simple things like, do they have a pen? Or did they ask to borrow yours? Did they bring their social security card? Or did they bring their ID? I'm looking at my kids that way.
Social skills.
I want to see, like, okay, did I have to tell you 15 times, or do you just know because you've been in school forever that your SATs are coming up?
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so SATs come up and my child bombs. I have no motivation to do anything with that child, regardless of how smart or talented, or because they've shown me a lack of emotional maturity. That's like, you need to do this. And whether or not your parents do it for you or not, because I was raised partially by my grandparents, and I'm partially by my mother, and it was two totally different worlds.
Right.
Being raised 100% with my mother, I would not have been prepared for squat. Does that mean that it's okay for me to sit here and lament it and, well, I demand better?
Right.
No, I still have to at the end of the
still have to
day.
be responsible.
That's your inner drive. Yeah.
You got to have that. But a lot of kids don't have that inner drive.
Right.
They don't have those advantages. And it is so disgusting
Right.
when you get into the advantages. We talked about this the other night hanging out.
Yeah.
The advantages between different school systems in one state is disgusting.
Yeah.
But
We can't
whatever
just
your
blame the
situation
school
is.
system either, though, because I also did in-school tutoring for Hands On Atlanta for a while. And these kids, I hate to say it, like, the parents were dropping them. The single mothers, it wasn't even a lot of dads that were involved, but the single mothers were dropping these kids off in their pajamas, picking them up in their pajamas. Like, you didn't do nothing all day, but this baby needs tutoring because he can't get past, like, the second page. So what are parents doing that's so important? You can't sit with your child because some children, they build a relationship with their parents. They're going to open up more to the parents than the teacher. So the teachers, we can't blame them. They got 20 of whatever you just had. Think about having 20 of those at the house. We expect these teachers to do so much, but if it don't start at home, it's just not going to happen. Like, and you going to make good grades? How? He don't even know how to read yet. It's like, and you forcing these kids to do something that they're not prepared for. So it's not just as far as college, but just life skills in general. And all people don't have it. I just feel like, just as a whole, people should just, that's our future. Like, at the end of the day,
It takes a village.
it takes a village.
We could all step in. We could
Right.
all aunts, grandmothers,
You're right.
sisters.
Neighbors, whoever. Like, because some children, they might open up to somebody that's not related to them. Like, you never really know. But I think there's a lack of, preparation for the generation. That sounds like a rhyme, look. A lack of preparation for the generation,
Yeah.
look. So I was just, asking, because I don't have any kids yet. And I feel like, a lot of people say, well, you don't have kids, so you can't make.
No,
but guess what? I'm a
you're
potty
the man
trainer.
I want
Kids.
to talk
Amazing
to.
intuition.
Because okay, you don't have kids yet.
Right.
What is your suggestion, Miss Cece?
I'm wait till I'm ready.
No,
if I can't afford your college degree, I'm not about to push
How do
you
you
out.
know? How do you know when you're going to be ready? That is.
It's
baffling
called
to me.
contraceptives and
Money
condoms.
doesn't
Like,
make you ready for a kid, though.
Money
I can
don't
have
make you
a ton of
ready.
money in the bank, and I'm still not ready to
but
get
what was the
married.
main problem with parenting now is the funds and the financial assistance. We don't have it. So if we had that before we had the kids, it wouldn't be as many problems as there is now.
Okay, so let me get this straight. My child has options, right? There's so many options out there. For now, like you said, I can't afford to pay for my child's college education.
But how long she wanted to go to college?
You don't know what's going to happen in your life the first 10 years of having this kid to where you can afford to pay for their college. So your life stops, or you furthering your lineage is going to stop because I can't afford to send him to college. You don't know what you're going to be able to afford.
Somebody
once
could
you
fall
have
ill. There could be a natural
anything
disaster.
could happen. But I'm just saying that since I don't have kids, at the moment, I'm going to prepare myself to have kids. I'm not going to rush and do it because, it's the norm. You should have a baby by 30. No, if you're not ready to have a baby at 30, you don't need to have
and
a
that's
baby.
fine. And that is fine.
Right.
Stick with that. I totally
Definitely.
agree. Like, that is the
It's a lot of,
smartest thing.
things happen, but at the end of the day, if we were all prepared for situations, if our mother sat down and talked to us, like you need to do this and this won't happen, we would be prepared for the situations that we incur in life. But anywho, we got a little deep. Still smiling now. Look, kick back with us at Talk Show Divas. We'll see y'all real soon. Bye.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.